on the stage. There I am. My bad, y'all. I didn't realize I wasn't on the stage. But I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Come on in the room. Let me know who's here. Say hello. Drop your city or state. Let me know if you're ready for day 2. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me put me. There we go. Y'all, I got into the shop today. I said, let me get in the shop. So I'm here. It's been raining again. I tell you, we have rain every day. Every day. But it's okay. That's good for our flowers and our plants and the crops, right? Yes. Well, I hope y'all ready for today. I hope you're ready for today. I am. I'm excited. We're going to dive into some history today. And then we are going to talk about the market. You know, we had day 1. And in day 1, we had our minds set right. Right? We had Delencia Collins West with some beautiful words for us. And then we did a little bit talking about licensure, exactly what that is, the benefits of having it, and what happens if you do decide to sell D9 products without your license, and what happens. So we did that on day 1. Today we got a giveaway because y'all had some homework. And you did your homework. You showed up in the Facebook group community. I want to thank you and I appreciate you all uploading your badges and doing the review on day 1. So for those that have done that, they are in for the drawing for our, I have it right here. Today is the D9 history book. Like I said, this book is by Lawrence C. Ross Jr. He is an alpha who wrote this history book. And I do think it is probably one of the best history books that I have read on D9 history. And it's a nice starter book to understanding the organizations and the histories and the traditions. So that is what is going to be raffled off in a few minutes. So are y'all ready to do the raffle? Put ready in the comments if you're ready for the raffle. Yes, yes. All right. So I am going to hit present. And I am going to hit share screen. I don't know which, hopefully it'll let me choose. Yep. And we are about to pick our winner. And here we go. Click the spin. Who's winning this history book today? All right. Lisa is the winner of our D9 history book for today. Thank you, Lisa, for doing your homework. And so for our tomorrow's drawing, just remember at the end of every day, we're going to have homework. Just do your homework. Your name goes into the drawing. Congratulations, Lisa. If we can congratulate Lisa. Yay. All right. All right. Yay. Congratulations. So Lisa, let me get with you just to get your address one-on-one offline and get this book to you. All right. So let's dive into, well, I'll tell you what, let's talk about what's tomorrow's giveaway. So we have tonight this D9 set up and licensure process workbook. Let me tell you about this workbook. First of all, this workbook is $49.99. This is tomorrow's giveaway. So make sure you do your homework so you can get the raffle for tomorrow's homework. Now, remember, this is for VIP. If you signed up for VIP, you get into the raffle for this book. If you have not signed up for VIP, your raffle is to actually get a spot into the VIP. So if you're all logged on tonight, you have not joined VIP, join VIP. I'll give you some more information about it at the end of the class so that you can get the book. But if you want to wait until the end of the class to see if you get raffled into VIP, then you can do that as well. So, but this workbook, y'all, let me tell you, this workbook has everything you need to plan, start, stay organized. I'm talking, there's links in here to have your social media templates. There's Instagram and Facebook templates. There is a daily journal that's here. There's a daily calendar, the business setup checklist. I'm talking like the wheel of life. It gives you this scoring on where you are with the wheel of life, such as finance, health, career, fun, leisure, love, friends, and you get to score yourself on the wheel of life and see where you are. There's a 7-day challenge to getting your business foundation together. There's also a 30-day challenge. It starts off with some goal setting. How do you create SMART goals? Brainstorming on products. There's so much in this book. There's also a link in this book for to do a Canva branding guide for your business if you don't have one already. Because, you know, when you do branding and brand identity, you want to be consistent across the board. So this is tomorrow's giveaway. So by the end of today, you'll know what your homework is so that you can be in the drawing for the workbook. All right. And it is a physical workbook. It is not an online digital workbook. All righty. So now let's get into day 2. We got quite a bit to cover today. So let's get into it. Present slides from the PDF. Let me make sure I choose the right one. Hopefully I did. Let me go to, and not to make y'all dizzy, because yeah, this is the right one. We got to get to day 2. I had it set up, but there's your homework. All right, so day 2. We're going to do an overview of the D9 history. This is not, I didn't save. It's okay. And then we are going to talk about this market and understand the market. Hey, Renee. All right, I see you. All right, so let's get into it. Y'all see my slides? Y'all hear me fine? And we rocking and rolling. Give me a thumbs up if you can see and hear me in the slides and we're in a good space. I don't see a thumbs up. Can you hear me? See me? See the slides? Ooh, y'all quiet tonight. Y'all quiet tonight. Y'all know we like to talk. Okay. All right. I got it. Thanks, Carla. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Brene. Here we go. All right. Oh, we did the day 1 winners. Yay. Congratulations, Lisa. Woohoo. All right. Y'all, I really don't like the way they reformat once I share. But today, we said we're going to talk about history, some organizational structure, buying behavior, and then D9 target market, right? Who do we I get that, Renee. It's hard to navigate those emojis on YouTube. Yes, yes. Maybe I'll say put a 1 or a 2 in the chat. How about that? So we can find these emojis. I struggle that when I'm trying to respond on my laptop with emojis in Facebook. Like I can't figure it out. All right, here we go. So we talked a little bit about this, about how D9 was formerly, it's not formally known, but it was known as National Panhellenic Council, NPHC. They both exist, right? So when you talk about D9 or you talk about NPHC, we know that we are still talking about these Black Greek letter organizations. And there are 9 of them, historically 9. Right. The NPHC was established in 1930. So remember, some of our organizations were started before 1906, 08, 11. So NPHC came a little later. Um, and so it was founded at Howard University, and it was to provide this collective voice, a platform for collaborations for all 9 of the Greek letter organizations, right? So it's a council for the 9. And so the core missions of the organizations, you will see that they have a common theme throughout the organizations. And it's to aim to uplift communities. And they're going to do that through academic excellence, civic engagement, social justice initiatives, and leadership development. When I talk about D9 history, I want you to really think about where African American and Black people were at that time during the start of these organizations, right? We're talking about pre-civil rights movement. We're talking about 1906. We're talking about 1908. So when these organizations were formed, they were considered the highest of academic excellence at these colleges and universities. Remember, white fraternities and sororities were already there. And these highly intelligent individuals, these Black individuals, were not allowed to join these fraternities and sororities. And so understanding that they had a sense of civic engagement, social justice, right? That they wanted their own organization to show that they can fight for these social justice, these civic engagements, this academic excellence, and this leadership. Therefore, these organizations were born. Okay, so think about the time as we go through this history of when these organizations are forming. So we're starting with Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. They were founded December the 4th, 1906. And this was on Cornell's University. This is in Ithaca, New York. They were the first intercollegiate Greek letter fraternity, and they were established for African American men. So the first Black Greek fraternity for men. It was created to provide scholarship, fellowship, advocacy for social justice. They were embodying the principles of manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. So Alpha Phi Alpha they played a pivotal role in the civil rights movement. They mentoring programs, leadership initiatives, and these were just to uplift communities worldwide. So this is the foundation in which Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity was founded. And if you can look to the left of the information, this is the shield. The colors are black and gold. Again, you got your branding guide when you joined VIP. If you joined VIP, you did get that. And you can see some of their colors and trademarking that's used. I always like to tell people that when you are designing for these fraternities and sororities, make sure you're using the proper shield and colors. Sometimes you can Google Alpha Shield and you'll get many images, but sometimes the images are not correct. So you want to make sure you're using the trademark shield that you are provided when you become a licensed vendor. Here are some famous Alpha men. We have Hill Hopper, Martin Luther King, Omar Hardwick. So these are just some notable Alpha men. There are many more, but here's just a few just to highlight some famous ones. So next we have Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. They were founded in January 15th, 1908. Howard University. You will find that a lot of the sororities and fraternities were founded at Howard in Washington, D.C. They were the first historically African-American sorority. They had 9 visionary women. Sometimes you'll hear 20, sometimes you'll hear 16, but they were created to promote sisterhood, scholarship, and service. Since its founding, AKA has grown into this global organization. dedicated to uplifting communities through education, advocacy, and social impact. So you see that theme, right? And so here is the shield, the AKA shield. It is pink and green, but it has gold and also black trimming or outlining around the shield. And the same, if you use the shield, make sure you're using correct one. I have seen the bottom of the shield where the Greek letters are, they've been distorted or just incorrect. So make sure you're just using the right one when designing. Here are some famous AKA women. Cynthia Envaro. I was very pleased to hear that she was a soror after watching Wicked. I didn't know it when I watched Wicked, but as I learned as she was coming out more and there were more press on her. Wanda Sykes, Felicia Rashad, Toni Morrison. So some famous AKA women. All right, and moving on to Kappa Alpha Psi, January the 5th, 1911. Remember, 1911, we haven't gotten to our civil rights movement, right? So they had a mission to foster achievement in every field of human endeavor. They had 10 founders, 10 men. The fraternity was created to provide brotherhood, leadership, service, and again, to face racial barriers, right? So they're fighting for rights here. Today, Kappa Alpha Psi has grown into a global organization committed to excellence, mentorship, and community upliftment. So again, those themes that you see, right? Mentorship, community uplifting, global organization that carries on to the Kappa Alpha Psi. Y'all, I'm a little hoarse today, so I'm sorry. But here are some famous Kappa men. We have Lance Gross, Colin Kaepernick. We have Johnny Cochran. There are many, many more. I know Cedric the Entertainer is also a Kappa man. So I have to do my little bragging, y'all. So every Friday on my product-based business page, we do a shout out for a famous Greek person, right? We call it Famous Greek Friday. And we did Lance Gross at one particular time. And normally my social media guy, he tags the person like that we are doing a shout out for. And of course, we don't really get anything back. But this particular time, Lance Gross reposted our post. I was so excited. That's when I was like, oh yeah, we're doing it now. Just one of my bragging moments. I'm so excited about that. But we did get our little shout out from Lance Gross when we highlighted him, who is a famous Kappa man. All right. So now we're moving to Omega Psi Phi. Let me go back, y'all. I'm sorry because I didn't highlight the shield here. As you can see, this is the shield that is used, that's trademarked for Kappa Alpha Psi. And again, just making sure you're using the correct one when you're designing. All right, Omega Psi Phi. They were founded in November 17th, 1911. So they were also founded the same year as Kappa Alpha Psi, just a different university. They were on Howard University's campus. They were the first international fraternal organization, and they were also founded at an HBCU. They had 3 founders, four plus the advisor. The fraternity was built on the principles of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. There's that same theme of uplifting communities, right? Today, Omega Psi Phi continues to impact the community worldwide through leadership, service, and unwavering brotherhood. All right, so looking at some of our famous Omega men, we have Steve Harvey, Tom Joyner, Shaquille O'Neal. And I always joke about the theme of Omega men. I said, must be a requirement to be bald. But here's some famous Omega men. All right, we are on to Delta Sigma Theta, founded January 13th, 1913, also at Howard University. They had 22 visionary women that were dedicated to scholarship, service, and sisterhood. So just 2 months after its founding, the sorority participated in the Women's Suffrage March. Again, that whole social justice and civic engagement theme that falls throughout our Black Greek letter organizations. They showcase their commitment to social activism. Today, Delta Sigma Theta continues to be a global force for change, empowering communities through education, advocacy, and public service. And I give a shout out to, I know we got a Delta on the line, Lisa. Here are some famous Delta women: Shirley Chisholm, Cicely Tyson, and Angela Bassett. These are just a few. There are many phenomenal women that are members of Delta Sigma Theta. All right, staying at Howard University. Y'all, I keep forgetting about these shields. Here, this is so one thing about Deltas and their official colors, you will see the shield sometimes in the crimson and the cream, and sometimes you'll see it in the red and the white. But the crimson and cream is the official Delta shield, okay, or crest. Sometimes you use shield, sometimes use crest. All righty, so now Phi Beta Sigma. We're staying on Howard University. A year later, January 9th, 1914. They had 3 founders who sought to create a fraternity rooted in brotherhood, scholarship, and service. Unlike organizations of its time, Sigma was established to be inclusive and focused on serving the greater community. So Phi Beta Sigma is the first organization that took other members other than who were all African American, right? They also took white members as well. So today, Phi Beta Sigma continues to uphold their motto, culture for service and service for humanity. And that's through leadership, education, and civic engagement worldwide. And here's the Sigma shield or crest over to the side. I find sometimes when I use the Sigma shield that I do have to have some sort of background behind it, just because of how it's designed across the top, just so that shield can pop more. So sometimes you'll have to have a backing for that design to translate well onto certain things. As you can see on this slide here, it has that blue background. Some famous Sigma here. We have Bill Clinton. We have Terrence Howard. And then we also have John, I don't know why I always blank on his name, but yes, his last name, his John. So if somebody can please put the last name in the comments. I do this every, John Lewis. Okay, sorry, there we go. Some famous Sigma men. All right, and now we have Zeta Phi Beta. We're still at Howard University. We're at January 16th, 1920. They had 5 trailblazing women as their founders who were committed to scholarship, service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood. Sometimes you'll see that in their some designs, finer woman or finer womanhood or just finer. As the sister organization to Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta was established to be a community conscious, action-oriented organization. Today, Zeta Phi Beta continues to lead through education, social justice, and service initiatives. I do want to point out that Zeta Phi Beta and Phi Beta Sigma are the only organizations that are constitutionally bound as brother and sister. You will see other organizations say that they're brothers and sisters or claim to be brothers and sisters, such as AKA and A Phi A or Delta Sigma Theta and Omega Psi Phi. But Zeta Phi Beta and Phi Beta Sigma are the only organizations that are constitutionally bound. So when you are designing for a brother and sister, sometimes they do, events together, or family members would want a combo design. It is important that you still create the design as if they are separate organizations. Sometimes, well, I think this is in the actual contract once you're licensed. That's sometimes people will combine the name Zeta Phi Beta Sigma, and that is incorrect. So when you're designing, knowing that they are constitutionally bound, they are still separate organizations and designed in that manner. All right, here are some famous Zeta women. We have Chrisette Michele, we have Esther Rowland, we have Dionne Warwick. There's other many wonderful Zeta women out there. All right, and I did it again. Here's the shield. They made some changes to the shield just a couple of years back, but it was subtle changes. It wasn't nothing that compromised to the tradition of the shield. But just, again, as you're using it for design, just pay attention to it and making sure that you're using the up-to-date and correct shield. Sigma Gamma Rho. They were at Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana. They were founded November the 12th, 1922. They had 7 educators dedicated to scholarship, service, again, that uplifting community. As the only D9 sorority founded at a predominantly white institution. Remember, we're talking 1922. All white institution. Sigma Gamma Rho was born in 1922 at Butler University. So Sigma Gamma Rho was created to empower African American women during the time of racial segregation. Today, the sorority continues its legacy and excellence through education, leadership, global service initiatives. All right, and so you can see the Sigma Gamma Rho shield here. When you use the Sigma Gamma Rho shield in design, because of its nature, sometimes you want to use it in remove background. It just doesn't really translate well. You'll have to kind of work with it a little bit if you wanted to use it in remove background. There's a way that you can do it to restore like the inside of the shield so that can be present. So just another shield that as you're designing, you want to make sure not to distort and you want to make your design crisp and use the shield in a way that will be complementary to it. Some famous SG Rho women, we have Fantasia, we have MC Lyte, we have Hattie McDaniel. There are many more. It's so hard to choose when I'm trying to choose these famous women and men on these slides, but these are some famous SG Rho women. And then the last of the D9 organizations, founded much later, 1963, at Morgan State University. This is at Baltimore, Maryland. They had 12 founders. They were dedicated men during the height of the civil rights movement. So now we're in the civil rights movement when they were founded. The fraternity was established to promote leadership, scholarship, citizenship, and brotherhood with a strong commitment to social change, because they were in the height of the civil rights movement when they were formed. So today, Iota Phi Theta continues to uplift communities through service, activism, and educational initiatives. And so, Carla, you'll be so proud of me. I did my research. So here are some, I did it again. There's the shield. So their colors are the chocolate, right, and the gold. But as you can see in their shield, they have a little more. They have black here, and they have red, and they have green. So you want to make sure you're properly representing the shield. All right. So now here are our famous Iotas. We have Terrence Carson, who we know from the show Living Single. We have Spencer Christian. He is a Good Morning America former author and meteorologist. And then we have Desi Arnaz Hans II. He played in Boys in the Hood, House Party, Harlem Nights, and Law and Order. I took the time to tell you exactly where we know them from, because last time I gave this presentation, I could not remember any of them, their names. I drew a blank, but here are some famous iota men. There are some out there. Okay. All right. So let's talk about organizational structure. How are these organizations structured, and what does that mean for us while we are creating products and finding our niche? So there is nationals, and that's where the international headquarters are. They are the governing body of the regions, of the chapters. They make all the decisions on when membership intake happens. They make decisions on our vendor applications. They put out communications to all of the organizations to keep them informed. They are the governing body of the organization. So that's nationals. Then we have regionals. So we have like the Southeast region, Mid-Atlantic, Midwestern, Northeastern region. And so these are the collection of states that are geographically located together, and they have their conferences and conventions at the regional level. Now, there are conferences and conventions, conclaves at the national level as well. But then there's also these regional ones. Then we can go down a little further into local chapters. The local chapters are very specific to the state that they are in, and even the city that they are in. So we have graduate chapters and we have undergraduate chapters. The undergraduate chapters are members that join the sorority or the fraternity at college while they are on campus. These are our undergraduate members. But our graduate members are those who have graduated from college and they join that fraternity or sorority after graduation. They still have a membership intake that is, I'm not going to say the same, but it's pretty similar to the undergraduate. It just happens after graduation. At the undergraduate level, any college student that's interested in that fraternity or sorority goes to their interest meeting and they go through that process that way. At the graduate level, you will have a sponsor from the chapter that you're wanting to be a member of, and they will sponsor you and you will go through membership that way. So that's just the difference between how do you join. So, but when we talk about from being a licensed vendor perspective, you should want to focus on chapters, regionals, a little bit harder to get national. But I will say at the national level, that's where you are on their website, right? That's at the national level. You're on their website and they're pubbing you as a licensed vendor. That is still a benefit. Regionally, if you have regional conferences, you want to vend at these conferences. You want to also, if they are, well, that happens nationally. What happens at national and regionally, if they want to kind of ask all the vendors for a design or bid on a design, right? And then at the local chapters, whenever they're having anniversaries, they're having whatever week they're having, Delta Week or Zeta Week, or whatever, you want to be able to try and get in front of those chapters in order to supply them with whatever needs they have, if that's a shirt or if it's a pen at a conference or something like that. But that is the organizational structure of their fraternities and sororities. Now, let's get into the D9 market. What motivates D9 members to buy the products that you're making, the products that you're selling? The first thing is that it holds a deep meaning for members. Think about all of the history that we talked about. Think about how it was pre civil rights movement or some right in the height of civil rights movement. That is history. These members are a part of Black history. And so it holds a deep meaning. Sometimes it's also when you have a family that has several D9 members in it, and when that this new member, right, joins your family twice, right, it holds a deep meaning. So there's opportunity for, legacy products, right? There's an opportunity for D9 Black history products. So it holds a deep meaning, and so they buy the products. There's the expression of pride that holds the same thing of like, I am a member of this organization. I have bonded with the folks on my line. I have bonded with the folks in my chapter. I have gone to conferences and found other members in my region, or I have gone to nationals, right? And so you show that sense of pride that I am a part of this organization, this history, which is the same for the connection in the rich traditions, right? And then just giving. Like anytime somebody knows that you're a member of an organization, they are constantly buying D9 products. Like they may not be Greek themselves, but they know someone and they just want to buy a product. I joked the other day about how many tumblers I have, how many pink and green tumblers I have. Because people just they know that I'm AKA and they want to gift things, right? So it's really for the members that buy, it's that deep pride and connection, this rich tradition, right? And for those who are not Greek, it is the just the mere fact of just knowing a Greek person and just buying it just because you know they are, right? So who buys? We have current undergraduate members. Y'all, when I see a new member, and I know y'all have seen it on the social media, and they post all of the things in their dorm room or their room at the house laid across the bed and balloons and so much, right? They buy when they're about to be presented to the world and with their showcase, their step show. They are ready to post that picture. They buy their parents, everyone that's waiting, right, for that moment for them to come out. They're buying stuff along the way. Graduate members, like if they have been wanting to be a member of that organization for a long time, and once they get into that organization, they're ready, right, to display those colors, display the shield proudly across their chest. Line jackets are so popular when people are first into an organization. So they get their first line jacket, and they get to wear it and have all of their line name and initiation year and all of that on there, right? They're excited. Graduate members buy. As you're thinking about products that you want to design, think about the difference in fashion, the difference in what an undergraduate member would buy versus a graduate member. There is, a difference. Sometimes more jewelry for the graduate members. I know undergraduate loves apparel. Everybody loves apparel, but not so much for, the jewelry. Undergrad may have a statement piece or a necklace that they like, a lapel pin that they may wear to meetings, but graduate members love lapel pins, right? I talked a little bit about family and friends of members. They are so excited to buy for their Greek friend or their Greek family member that they will buy. I think I told you all that when I sell fraternity items, it's mostly a family or friend. But when I sell sorority, they're mostly a graduate or undergraduate member. Chapters. I talked about these anniversaries, these weeks, these special occasions, these new members that come out and need gifts. Chapters buy for their new members, chapters buy for whatever event they have coming up. So that is an optimal place there to market. And then college and universities, student life offices. Sometimes they have joint D9 efforts or joint NPHC things where they will have all of the D9 or some kind of image with all the D9 on it. So college and university bookstores, how do you get into there? Even having a Greek store near campus, a brick and mortar near campus, is a place to kind of have your products as well. So those are places that you can sell your product. So let's talk about what they buy. What are some key products? What are some things people buy, right? So apparel is number one on the list. Shirts, hoodies, jackets, baseball jackets, apparel. When you have a good design and it's quality and it's just you're marketing it well, you can do very well selling apparel. For me, mine is very basic because I'm selling new member boxes. I just have a line shirt and I have a line jacket and it's packaged in a box, right? But apparel is endless. You can embroider, you can sublimate, you can do DTF. It's just endless with what you can do with apparel. And then we have accessories. Accessories, you see here, the silicone bracelets are popular. People go through them and will buy multiple of these silicone bracelets because it's like one of those staple items as a Greek person. Then there's other bracelets, of course, the lapel pins, lanyards. Lanyards are popular. Keychains are popular in the accessories as well. Excuse me. And then we are going to move down to the home decor. This is a blanket. There are plenty of blankets, rugs, wall art that falls in home decor. I've seen, and I should probably add this to the slides, car accessories as well. Because you can see the headrest covers. Some have car mats, of course, the car tags, the license plates, cup coasters. I've seen those. I've actually made a couple of those. So car, I should add that as a category, these car accessories. Footwear. These are flip-flops. I've seen shoes. I've seen socks. I always like to caution people when you do footwear, you shouldn't put the shield on in certain designs. You shouldn't be used. One is on the feet, on wine glasses, flask. You shouldn't put the shield there or any design for wine and flask. And the shield across the bottom area, you should not use there. So just some things to remember as you're designing kind of footwear. Then event paraphernalia. I talked about this, these anniversaries, these milestone things, events that come up. You can always do some sort of apparel or a pen. This was the Sigma Gamma Rho Centennial pen that I designed when that came around. So event paraphernalia is optimal place to do a bulk order. And then hopefully if you do a really good job with that particular event, you'll be the person that chapter goes to in the event they need something else. All right. Then we have formal or ceremonial. This here is a graduation stole. I'm telling you, graduation season is great. Number one, you're coming out of crossing season and entering into graduation season. So you have this constant flow of creating product moving into graduation. There's caps, graduation caps, different types of stoles, excuse me. Different types of graduation stoles that you can do. You can do DTF. This particular one is embroidered, so you can embroider, you can sublimate. There's so many options, and then there's so many colors that you can choose from, as long as you're staying within the colors of that sorority or fraternity. Now, I will say that I have seen graduation stoles where maybe the school colors was on one side, and that fraternity or sorority was on the other side. That is okay. So yeah, different ceremonial or formal things. So this is just a couple of products. I cannot tell you how many times I'm thinking, oh, that'd be pretty cool as a product, right? And I'm thinking, nope, girl, stay true to your business model. We cannot veer off into the woods. So if you need somebody to brainstorm with, call me up. And so I can tell you what my ideas have been rolling around lately, y'all. I said, I wanted to learn how to quilt. I wanted to do some quilts, some sorority quilts. And I had found a whole company that would print my design on the quilt, the front, right, of the quilt, because then I wanted to do the quilting and the backing. So I don't have time for that, but it's still there. I did make this one on the slide out of my old, these were my old t-shirts from when I crossed at university back in 97. Because we know, you're not supposed to give away, right? Or throw away your para. So as you, over the years, you have all of these shirts and it's like, what do you do with these? So I said, you know what? I'm just going to make a t-shirt out of it, a t-shirt blanket. And so that is where that idea came from there. So it's endless of the products that you can make. All right. We are down to the homework. This homework here is up. Let me go back. And it's still fair. I changed that, but I don't know why I didn't save. So this homework here are for my free folks. This isn't the VIP homework. I want you to type or list 3 items, right? Or I'm trying to say the products that you would want to make, right? 3 people to choose that you would focus on that you're going to sell a product to, and what product would you sell to that person. So for instance, if you're like, okay, I'm going to do undergrad, grad, and parents, right? Pick one product that you will sell to that undergrad, one product you will sell to that grad person, and then one product you will sell to that parent. But this is for our free folks, okay? And that is for you to get into the raffle for our VIP spot. So please do that. But for our VIP folks, well, let me talk about VIP. And it is $27. I made that change and I have no idea why it did not save. But let me tell you a little bit about what you get in VIP. All right. 3 days of gems, because today is the last free day, right? Unless you sign up for VIP, because once we leave here today, we're going to hop on a Zoom and we're going to talk all about social media and how you're going to pub your business so that people can come to you, right? So that's what we're going to do today. But then you have day 4 where, no, this is day 2. Day 2 is social media. Day 3, we have Eureka Thomas. Eureka Thomas is the GOAT in setting up your business and getting and securing business funding. She will hop on tomorrow. We will be Zoom only starting tomorrow. So with no more YouTube Live. But she will get on that Zoom and she is going to give so many gems about making sure your business foundation is set and how to get that business funding. Then we're going to hop over to day 4 where I come back. We're diving into the licensure process and exactly what it is that we needed to pull together for that. Then day 5, we're going to have some fun. We are going to design, and I like to use ChatGPT, but I'll give you some other resources. How do you properly design, and how do you make nice mock-ups for your product? All right. So that's the additional three days that you get for VIP. You also get the recordings. If you can't make it, or you're trying to multitask and you're missing some things and you know you needed to go back because you missed something, you get the recorded replays. We had our 1-hour Q&A session on last night, and I'm so thankful and grateful for the ladies that were there because we had some good conversations and good ideas flowing. You get the free accountability group, the Facebook group, free D9 Canva design, access to daily giveaways. You get your 2 ebooks that you get free, and your VIP badge. And I say 2, but I think it's 3. Let me know if that branding guide was in there or not. I have to get that to y'all if it wasn't. So VIP is $27. Let me go ahead and put the link in the chat. If you have not joined VIP, you still have time to join. You still have time. All right. So we are going to, before I hop off, and me and VIP are going to have our one-on-ones talking about social media. Are there any questions about anything that I presented on today? Any questions? I know it was a lot of information, but like I have always said, you gotta understand the community that you're trying to serve. So that was the purpose of today. Let's dive into understanding our community, who they are, what are their traditions, how are they structured, right? Who buys? What are they buying, right? We got to understand all of that before we can really start to design products and selling products and getting into the licensures. All right, VIP, I will see you all in the Zoom. So hop on over. For those who have not joined VIP, please do so. You have time. But if not, that is perfectly okay. Watch this replay as many times as you need. You have day 1 and you have day 2. Reach out to me. There are other services. We have workshops. I have one-on-ones. Whatever it is, if you cannot do VIP right now, that is perfectly fine. But VIP, I will see you in a few minutes. All right, y'all. Bye.